Welcome to Revlog, where we say, Chris who?
Chris, what? Who are you talking about?
I don't know. He's a ghost. And where Aaron keeps the fourth commandment a little too long. Am I wrong in that?
No, it was...
I mean, some people go too far with the 10 Commandments.
Well...
Don't they?
I guess. Yeah.
I mean...
Keep them too well?
Well, they keep them to the point of being legalistic about it. I mean, come on. My Sabbath isn't over. I think that's what you said with your actions.
I told the airline.
Yeah. You were delayed in coming back from vacation.
No one felt bad
about us. Can we get a close-up of the air quotes?
Having 2 extra days in Maui. Nobody felt bad for us at all, and we can't figure out why. But we're back now.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back from Sabbath.
Let's talk about the Sabbath, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. So here we are, Exodus 28 through 11, this idea of Sabbath. And you know what I found when I was reading through this, Bryan, is that I wanted it to say this. I did. And I kept reading, go to church. This is true story.
You know what? That's the paraphrase I grew up with.
Absolutely. And
you think somewhere in some Bible, in some church, it's like the old-time church's paraphrase of the
you got to wonder
scriptures.
And I was even reticent to even bring that up because the last thing we want to do is to discourage people from coming to church, right? But honestly, when you look at that, it doesn't talk about going to church. Now, let's also say, do not forsake the gathering together.
Here's the caveat.
That it is good to gather together. It is good to assemble together. The church is, that's a good thing. But this idea of Sabbath.
It is a good thing.
This idea of Sabbath, my study Bible says it's a blessed release from hard labor. And then it goes on to say this: the holiness of the day separates it to the Lord so that it is enjoyed by sharing his rest, celebrating his work of creation and redemption. And I just love that idea of resting in him, that part of what we do is to celebrate creation, celebrate his act of creation and his act of redemption. And that's one of the ways we can do that is through worship. But
that's not the whole of it.
That's right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just this release from all that just binds us down in this world and a celebration of all that he has done for us. And so it's amazing how we've messed that up too.
Well, we have. We've institutionalized and sort of formalized everything there. I wonder, I follow along with the thoughts of the pastor and writer John Ortberg. I remember he used to talk about how many times God said stop in the Old Testament. Moses, the lawgiver, he gave all of these festivals. And do you remember how many there? I don't know, 7 or 8 festivals to the Lord. Something like that. Maybe that's something for us to consider together. How many are there? Yeah. I meant to count those and I forgot. But he just says, stop. You will do no work. Stop. And that's very different from what we often, what I grew up saying the Sabbath was. You do this, you go to that committee, whatever. But stopping, that's a little terrifying because we have this belief that something's not going to get done.
That's right.
But guess what, Aaron? Something's not going to get done. Are you okay with that?
Well, and we have to be, don't we?
I don't know that I am.
Yeah, well, and that's when it's amazing that when you're forced to stop, and you're given some time away, you realize life goes on. That it wasn't dependent upon you in the first place, and that you needed this more than you ever realized. And that's
kind of an affront to me, though.
And to our culture. It
wasn't dependent on me.
So I'm in Maui. I don't know if you knew this, but I went to Maui. And hey, just go with me there. It works with the illustration. And
Does it?
Yeah, we're sitting in one of those horrible timeshare presentations, right, where they're trying to sell you stuff. Don't worry, didn't buy. But they're talking to us.
I really commiserate with you.
Okay. But they're talking about how little time we take off as Americans because our society has told us, get ahead.
Right.
In order to do that, you sacrifice just about everything. And there was a lady from Germany who's sitting in front of us, and they have 6 weeks in her job that's guaranteed. And it was just kind of, the whole room.
That's against the American work ethic.
We don't do it that way. But again, God's been saying all along, I need you to stop. I need you to rest. And again, it's going to get done without you. It's going to move on, and God is requiring this of us. So,
and maybe better without you.
Absolutely.
Not, and there's a fine line there, isn't it? I mean, you matter to the world. We say each individual matters, but each individual is not a pillar of this world.
That's right.
We're not holding up anything.
And for God to say stop, it makes us realize that very thing, that it's not about us.
Yes,
And
that's
so,
right.
So if nothing else, God's reminding us that He's the one that's holding it all in His hand anyway. So you might as well rest. So,
Question?
well, just like the Jewish culture that followed this law from Moses, just how many rules they put with following the Sabbath, and then it becomes work just to follow the rules. And so how much have we structured around this idea of Sabbath that is more about rule following than it is about resting? And I think what does rest really mean for us, or have we resisted the idea so long that we don't even recognize it?
That's very troubling.
Yes.
You raise a very troubling question. My question is, I wonder what it's going to take to get me to stop. And each individual, what is it going to take? And sometimes, I mean, our minds go to, is it a heart attack?
Right.
Is it this, that, or the other, a health concern? Or is it a realization that we've missed building a friendship or life with people or family?
Right.
Something's gone awry. This little book here is really good. I have not read this whole thing. I've started reading it. It's by Joseph Pieper. If you care, but it's called Leisure, the Basis of Culture.
Wow.
And he argues that if we do not have time to think and to contemplate, then we will not build a society and build a world.
Yeah. Well, and again, it goes to that commentary that I had in my Bible about celebrating His creation. That is Sabbath.
That's right.
So, absolutely.
Well said. Thank you for joining us. Look into these questions. Buy my book. You call me Joseph Pieper. But we look forward to continuing this conversation with all of you. Thanks, everybody.